Work hard for what works hard for us. First of all, I want to say ain't nobody special. I ain't nobody special. But even with me not being nobody special, who I am doesn't make me special. It is the I am that makes me special. Not who, but I am. It's not the who that makes me special. It's the I am that makes me special. The opportunity to change I am from a story which we've been taught about ourselves or taught by the world does not weigh in when it comes to the I am of who I am. What Kevin Gates say, who I am, and who I'm not, I'll never be. There's a real game to that. And in the first video, I had put my I am book, some quotes. Like I said, I have not read this book. Neither have I dog-eared anything in this book. Nor have I bookmarked anything in this book. It's just a book. We're just gonna open it up. Let's say, why am I? All right. It says, there is no greater fear to a human being than the interpretation of events to mean you are nothing. I am nobody special. Once again, in my first video, this book opened up to where it needed to go to. The wisdom ain't in me. The wisdom is in I am. I am nothing. I am nobody special. But I am is special. There is no greater fear to a human being than the interpretation of events to mean you are nothing. Your ego will go to any measure to get the self to be seen and heard when the self feels it is not heard. And this speaks about the Rodney King movements back in 1992. The riots says the April 1992 riots that followed the Rodney King assault trial were the response to the collective consciousness of a specific community saying, I am. And if you won't acknowledge that I am, I will create a release that will cause you to notice that I am. There have been many other examples of such releases throughout history. Most of these incidents were many times larger in magnitude. Thousands of years of revolts, genocides, and wars have been the result of a shift to a negatively charged state of mind and the perceived need for a certain way to exist. This type of reflection is usually marked with disbelief, shock, and horror at the behavior that was used. The description of violent behavior by its perpetrators may include statements such as, it was like I was possessed or I fell out of my mind. Possession is really nothing more than the energy system within an individual or group purging the energy imbalance, entropy, through heightened emotion, chaos, and the seeming loss of control. Remember, we talked about emotional responses, right? In that first video, we talked about emotional responses. It says, in a highly volatile, imbalanced state, the possibilities one believes that they are faced with have been reduced to only the ones that generate the greatest amount of fear. Thoughts creating actions, which create feelings. And that cyclical Pygmalion effect, as is referred to in psychology, you can look that up. It's Pygmalion, Pygmalion effect. And just for those who don't know what a Pygmalion effect is, if a person, say there's a coach, I've taught this to my brother in the past. I've spoken about this to my mother in the past. I've spoken to this to peers. Spoken about this to peers. You got a coach right here. He's the coach. Now I got two students. They basketball players. Him right here reminds coach of back in the day. That one dude that was the star of the team, or maybe even reminds him of himself. And you got this dude right here. He looks at him, reminds him of this bench warmer from when he was a child. I talk about how humanity allows the energy flow of the matrix or of the people that's in their surroundings or the beliefs of another individual to create the cycle of action to reaction. So as a result, he sees him, star player, says, yeah, man, like how you got that ball up there, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. I see your potential. So as a result, he stand up a little taller. When he sees him play that ball, he already had in his mind he wasn't going to do nothing with himself. He looked at him, he said, oh, well, hit it a little harder, all right? Over time, this dude already, he looking for somebody to validate him from the external. He applied for a team now, so did he. But the only difference is the person on the outside had feelings, thoughts, and actions that he fed to this one. For what? A cyclical feedback loop. That as he was pushed and told that he was greater, he became greater and he felt greater. And even though he hit hard moments, he had somebody saying, nah, you can do it. So he kept doing it and got better and better. Meanwhile, this guy right here, less words. He was given less actions. He was given less of a push. Eventually became who? The bench warmer that the coach was reminded of back in the day. He's sitting on the bench over here, just chilling. He don't want to play no more. He shows up, coach sees him, coach look off to the side. Instead, he looking at him like, oh yeah, come on, boy, it's time. Keep going. Meanwhile, my boy don't even want to play no more. He don't go home, he don't practice. He feel like he can't do it. All because he has allowed the external to change his internal dialogue and dynamic and change his cyclical feedback loop to become that of the coaches. Meanwhile, he receiving that external feedback, which gives him internal feedbacks, which builds his ability to keep going. And we talked about belief. My boy is believing in himself. Now, we all look for validation externally. We all look for that. We look for that. We're programmed for that. We're tribal creatures. We have a necessity to belong. Once upon a time, we was all in the woods or the forest or whatever civilization you come from, and you was alone, the chances of survival was massively diminished. So to be a part of the group required acceptance, which is also something that I was taught in therapy. All right. And so it speaks right here that the mechanism setting off the imbalance is always the protection of a certain piece of one's perceived identity. I'm a good player. I'm a bad player. I'm the coach. I done seen a lot of ball get played. Trust me. Believe me. But what coach can't see is he so fueled by external validation that as soon as coach ain't there no more, his growth stops. Instead, it's the woman. He done went after his little girlfriend. She pregnant. He going to work. He doing great. Great dad. But little homie right here, and he been pushed to believe in himself, he never would have stopped believing in himself. The only difference is we didn't know who was going to be able to go into that feedback loop and continuously believe in themselves, even in the absence of things that fit into that. And so the possibilities one believes they are faced with have been reduced to only the ones that generate the greatest amount of fear. His greatest fear was not being the best player. Eventually, when his voice was gone, that fear became a reality because he was no longer a player at all. His fear was that he would never be a player. His fear was realized. But the thing about the little man is the one who thought he'd never be a player, if he gets up and plays again, he will never, ever, ever allow someone outside of himself tell him, I'm not a player, because I proved it to myself. Once again, the emotional response cyclical feedback loop of actions feeding experience in the words that you speak, which re-emphasize the beliefs in your mind. External, ever changing, always a new person, always a new circumstance, always a new challenge. You could be the champion for 5-10 years and get knocked on your ass. Excuse my language. If you was just going because I'm a champion, eventually when you're not the champion no more, are you gonna quit? You gonna stop? Was it because you loved this? Was it because you was angry that you did this thing? Was it because you was channeling energy? What are you doing it for? The story is always what we want it to be. And when we let somebody else create the story about us, we find ourselves in some very tough circumstances. Rodney King was beat to death. Young man by the police who had the belief, because they was the police and they was white policemen, that they was above and beyond any repercussion for taking them actions, all because he was a black man who they thought was less in value than them. Which brings me to the ultimate point. I am of value. The story that has been built is of no value because I can always create a new story. Therefore, nobody's less than another. I have the potential to die. I have the potential to live. I have the potential to grow. I have the potential to regress and stagnate, just like anybody else. What voices are you listening to? When someone says you hurt my feelings, that person really is saying, you told me something that was in direct opposition to what I believe about myself. Have you ever had somebody walk up to you and say, you're a bad person, but you know you're not? First of all, that's all subjective anyway. To them, you might really be a bad person. But inside your mind, 80% of the time throughout the day, as long as you keeping your mouth shut, not talking down on everybody around you, probably got some pretty good actions. Probably a pretty decent individual. Just like anybody else, you got flaws, but you're not a bad person. That's an overgeneralization, cognitive defect. How about that, right? And so we can't be angry at nobody else for not believing in us. We got to be angry at ourselves for believing them more than we believe in ourselves. We know that somebody who get hurt by what we said, we call them sensitive. Oh man, why are you so sensitive? Oh man, just get over it. Move on. Move along with your life. You be all right. Shit. But if we found ourselves making the same mistake, how you spoke about them is likely how you speak about yourself. Once again, I ain't make these videos for you. I made them for you, but I ain't make them for you. I made them for me. But by helping you, I'm helping myself. The more I can believe what it is I'm telling you, the more I can review and come back and speak again to these same and record it and listen to it. I'm speaking from the future to my past self right now. Because the video being made in real time. I'm watching myself make this video. I'm watching myself make my life. I'm watching my interactions with others to see, am I mad at them or am I mad at me? Because it just simply cannot be that everything you said about me is more factual than what I believe about me. See, I got a heart. Meaning that my emotions gonna coincide with what I believe about me. And I'm gonna reset that because I got power over that. They say affirmation comes with the validation of true and wholesome belief, not just a thought. They're not better than me. I'm not better than you. We all are part of one bigger thing. As long as I believe I'm better than you, then I'm lesser than. Because the whole goal here is to lift you up. Because when I lift you up, I'm lifting up myself. And I know to a lot of people that'll sound like mumbo jumbo. For the majority of people in a negative mind state and body, a big outburst usually exhausts them and brings them to the point where they can regain some sense of balance. After a good cry, they tend to feel drained, but also accepting, open-minded to the potential changes they are faced with. Moving away from the I Am book, we're going to step to this one. A lot of people say it's not real. Okay. Starting with something small is an easy way to experience the law of attraction with your own eyes. Law of attraction has the ability to attract something to himself through the power of the mind. With total faith, he is now moved into creating much bigger things. They created a feather. That's what he was seeing in his mind, feather. We got a lot of fleeting thoughts, y'all. Internal chatter can be chaotic. It can be good. It can be a lot of things going on in our mind. But the power of a sustained thought has the power to change reality. Number one, by changing how you interact with reality. You are ingrained in reality. Just because you feel separate don't mean that you are. Once again, we want to raise the consciousness. We want to raise the vibration not only of ourselves, but those around us. Because if I were to say I'm better than you because I can figure this out, I'm not the smartest person. At least that's what my story tells me. I made a lot of mistakes. But they say that failure is a pathway to success. So if I failed a whole bunch and I'm still trying, that shows more about my tenacity than anything. I'm still showing up. Even when ain't nothing going right, I'm showing up. So what does that really say? Do I have to eventually get it right for me to still show up and still believe? No. If you got character, it ain't what you do when everything's great that tells you who you are. We all done found a little relationship, little fine thing we done ran with. Everything great. It's great. The sex is great. The dinner date was great. We went out, had drinks with friends. It was great. But as soon as shit hit the fan, it ain't. Now all of a sudden, I can't. And I won't. And I'm not. You would go home and look at your granddaddy and your grandmama talking about something. I ain't dealing with that. But you know what the difference was? It didn't matter how many times they said I ain't dealing with that. They didn't diverge. They stayed intertwined. How many of you are intertwined with yourself, believe in yourself, follow through for yourself, show up for yourself, even when shit ain't showing up for you? Do you really believe? Does your heart believe like your mind believe? Are you coming to work like, fuck, I'm here again? Or am I might not understand, but I'm here for a reason. I don't have to know why, but it's in my plan. His plan. Because we so short-sighted. Let's continue to show up for those who's around us. Let's show up for ourselves. Something I always say, because I'm in recovery from drugs and weed, I have a drink sometimes. And I don't even feel bad. Because as long as I can still show up for work and I still got another chance, God woke me up today. Only God can judge me. It ain't up to you. Am I saying it's okay? I'm not. Not everybody gonna be able to do what I can do and still show up for themselves. Ain't nobody gonna be able to go out their mind and still show up for themselves. There's a lot of people who not gonna have that kind of belief. Does that mean that they're not capable of that belief though? I'm in recovery right now. And when I talk to other people who is in recovery, I tell them, you're not fighting to stay in recovery. You creating a new life because the old life outdated, baby. It ain't doing it no more. It just ain't doing it no more. The old coping skills, you ain't coping no more. You creating chaos instead of coping. The escape became your life. And unless you just don't want to be here, I would love to control my outcomes. I would love to generate that income. I would love to motivate my people, my kinfolk. That's what I want to do. I want to bring my family to a new place. It ain't just about me no more. It's been about y'all. It's been about me too. It's been about them who brought us to where we are today. Thank God for my grandmama and my granddaddy. Everybody who I ain't even got to meet. They played a role. Regardless of whether I know how, it don't matter. Let's practice more gratitude. Let's create more emotional responses for ourselves. Let's speak words contrary to the words that the world wants us to speak to each other and to ourselves. Oh, I'll never make it. Oh, I could never change that. Psst. Are you convinced? Because if you ain't convincing yourself, who else gonna be convinced? And I ain't got to be perfect, and I'm not faking it till I make it. I already made it. I'm here. I'm right now. Should have been dead a long time ago. Crashed my vehicle 150 miles per hour. Tire blew out. Baby mama in the passenger side. Should have tumbled the car. 4 hit and runs. Ain't no reason why I shouldn't have killed somebody, whether it was myself or somebody else. And it was all because I was out of my mind. Coming off drugs. Somebody should have died. But here we are today. And ever since that happened, I've always said, I'm here for some reason. The breakthrough ain't when you choose, it's when you ready. The breakthrough ain't when you ready, it's when it choose you too. Can't stand being in sales. I sell car washes, memberships to a car wash. Some of my best sales come from, how you doing today? Nah, don't roll up your window. I got to talk to you. On my mama. Even my mother said, sound like you on fire, son. What? I don't even want to be here. What? Gotta stop doing that though. I want to be there. I want to be there for all of it. I want to be a light in your life. I want to make you smile when you come by. I want you to feel like I just hugged you when you left. I want you to catch a glance of me out the side of your eye. When you roll by, I want you to think I'm coming back just so I can see this guy. And if he ain't got the opportunity, I'm going to provide that because I know why he ain't die. He right here so that he can be by my side. Tell that to yourself. Tell that to the ones that you love. Hey, we done both been through a lot. But God don't waste none of it. And I'm not going to waste my time with you.